Join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
That was awesome. I think we'll have the softball team here every meeting for the pledge. Very good. That was wonderful. All right, first order of business is looking at the minutes from the June 17th, 2025 regular council meeting. Anybody have any corrections, additions? If not, we would entertain a motion to approve those minutes.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
We have a motion by Robin, second by Mike to approve those minutes. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed, state no. Those minutes are carried. Looks like we have the executive session minutes then from June 17th as well. Any changes? If not, we'd entertain a motion to approve those.
I make a motion we approve the executive session minutes.
Second?
We have a motion by Mike, second by Robin to approve the June 17th executive session minutes. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed, state no. Those minutes are carried as well. Do we have any changes to tonight's agenda? If not, we'd entertain a motion to approve tonight's agenda.
Make a motion we approve the agenda as presented.
A second.
We have a motion by Mike, second by Rick. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed, state no. The agenda is approved. Guests in open forum, do we have anybody here? I know we had one. We have a few people here. Is there any, I think we have one group signed up to speak tonight. Come on up if you want. Please come forward. We'll just ask you to state your name and right at the podium there, we'll turn the microphone around. If you could just state your name so we know who you are and then address the council. Thank you.
My name is Cheyenne Ricks. I am going to try to keep this as brief as I can. I don't want to interrupt the really exciting swearing in tonight. So, but good evening, council members. My name is Cheyenne. My husband's name is Logan. We moved into our home here in Becker in September of 24. And tonight we are here to ask for understanding and support. On Friday, June 27th, we received a phone call informing us that we had, someone had filed a complaint against our ducks we keep on our property. To our surprise, we were told that ducks were considered prohibited animals in Becker city limits. Before getting them, we did our research and genuinely believed we were following the proper guidelines. Unfortunately, we now realize we had confused Becker Township ordinances with those of Becker City. That was our mistake and we take full responsibility for it. But at this point, we're not here to argue that mistake. We're here to try to make it right. These ducks are not livestock to us. They are emotional support animals, and they are our pets, deeply bonded companions who sit in our laps, eat from our hands, and bring comfort and structure to our lives. We built them a secure coop and run where they spend 100% of their time. They're contained, cleaned, and have not caused any issues. No damage, no noise complaints, no odor complaints. In fact, we weren't even told what the actual complaint was, only that a complaint had been made. We are here tonight to ask the city to consider a reasonable compromise. We are more than willing to relocate the coop further into our property, erect a privacy fence, which we were planning to already do, to pay a licensing or permitting fee if one is deemed appropriate. We're also asking for time and a chance not only to continue caring for these animals that we love, but to return at a future meeting and respectfully discuss the possibilities of revisiting animal ordinances, especially in regard to ducks. We understand that tonight is not a session where decisions or amendments can be made. We are asking for a temporary exception, permission to keep our ducks while we work with the city towards a more permanent solution. On a personal note, I have clinical depression, generalized anxiety, and stress-induced seizures. These ducks have played a critical role in helping manage these conditions. Since receiving the call on Friday, I have had 2 seizures and missed work, and now I'm sick due to my compromised immune system from stress. The June 11th deadline we have been given to remove them has placed a huge emotional burden on both of us. We never intended to break the rules, and we are committed to being respectful, responsible members of this community. We are simply asking for a compassionate and practical path forward. Thank you so much for your time and considering our request.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Is there anybody else here that would like to address council tonight? All right, then we're moving on to the swearing-in ceremony of our new police chief. And so we'll turn it over to Shannon Mortensen, our city clerk.
Where do you want to go? Do you want me to go over here? Okay.
From the paper here, get some pictures.
Raise your right hand. I, Chris Lindblom,
I, Chris Lindblom,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
of the United States of America
of the United States of America
and the Constitution
and the Constitution
of the State of Minnesota.
of the State of Minnesota.
On my honor,
On my honor,
I will never betray my badge,
I will never betray my badge,
my integrity,
my integrity,
my character,
or
the public trust.
the public trust.
I will faithfully discharge
I will faithfully discharge
the duties of the office
the duties of the office
of Police Chief
of Police Chief
in the City of Becker
in the City of Becker
to the best of my judgment
to the best of my judgment
and ability,
and ability,
so help me God.
so help me God.
You are now sworn in.
Thank you.
Get them good, Fred.
Thank you. Mayor, council, I just wanted to thank you for the opportunity to trust me in the leadership of the city moving forward. Everything that I just recited with Shannon here stands true to my heart. I hope that you can see here that I have hopefully a lot of support behind me in the community, which I think everybody knows that this position takes a lot. There's a lot of stressful things, and so hopefully you can see that we as a community kind of hopefully will move forward and support me and the decisions that I make, and then hopefully benefit the city moving forward for many, many years. So I just appreciate the opportunity and the trust that you've placed in me. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
We are gonna go head out, and then feel free to stop out next door if you want afterwards.
All right,
Thank you.
all right, thank you.
Now, everybody's gonna, yeah.
We're not offended if you leave, it's okay.
They are used to this, it happens a lot.
Follow the crowd.
Can we do one quick?
Absolutely. Who's gonna tell them no?
Just follow them out.
I just wondered if Tony, but maybe Tony might have a picture.
He did.
Oh, I meant with
Oh.
kids.
Need more pictures, Tony. See, all you gotta do is
Yeah,
mention it. He's listening.
hold on.
That'll put it away.
Abby, you want cake? No way. Who doesn't? I kinda don't want cake. I want cake. I want cheesecake.
Look at you all alone over there, Lori.
It's a good thing we're not on a boat. We'd be capsizing.
Sitting with all your friends, huh?
All right, we'll move on to Mr. Knutson for the introduction of our Recreation Services Manager.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. We'll just wait a few minutes. We've got a bunch of kids from Adventure Zone coming over to fill the chamber to give a little fanfare. But tonight it's my pleasure to introduce you to Brandy Thomas, our new Recreation Services Manager at the Community Center. So after a thorough search for a new candidate when Bart Gevins left, it was very quickly that Brandy kind of floated to the top as our primary candidate. So we're thrilled to have her, her background, her commitment to the community, and I'll stop talking and just bring her up here so she can say a few words and introduce herself to you guys.
Wonderful. Welcome, Brandy.
Yeah, thank you, and thank you for trusting me to take over this position. I'm very happy to be here. To give you some context, I'm not completely new to Becker. Actually, in college, I worked at the Becker Community Center as an LBA. I also did an internship there for my senior year of college under Jamie Cassidy. Did a number of special events, including a fat tire bike race at Pebble Creek, spa night at the BCC, fifth quarter, all sorts of stuff. I have an undergrad degree, a bachelor's degree in recreation and sports management. Then I went into the community education field where I worked in Annandale Public Schools and St. Michael Albertville Public Schools in a similar trade, doing recreation programming, enrichment programming, childcare related things. And then went on to get my master's degree in community education and education administration and leadership. From there, I was the director of community education for Rocori Public Schools, and always had a goal to come back to Becker, mostly because my kids are getting to that age where I want them to go to Becker schools. We live in Clearwater right now. I'm originally from Clearwater, so I'm excited to find a home out this direction and put my kids in Becker schools. Mark and I have had many conversations about that already. But it's really nice to be back. A number of the Becker Community Center team is the team that was there when I was there originally. So I've already built that relationship, and I'm looking forward to now not only just being a member of the team, but leading that team and bringing some new programming and reinventing some of the stuff we already have. And really happy to be here in this community. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. Welcome. Wonderful. Thank you so much. All right, moving on. We have committee reports. We'll start out with the Fire Board special meeting. Rick, you want to take that?
Sure. Fire Board special meeting, as we reported last time, we were gonna have an additional meeting to talk about, kind of flush out the budget a little more, which we did have, last Monday. We had a lot of discussion, a special thank you to our, city staff for putting together some, extra numbers for us, kind of help us crunch some numbers there, and, bottom line is, I think we all walked out of there with a budget that we all feel comfortable with, and we'll all get to, look at and vote on at our joint meeting in July, coming up here. Well, we're in July now, so later this month. That was the only topic of the meeting.
Yeah. Police committee?
Take that one too. Police committee, we met, where did it go? Here we go. We met, let's see, a couple Fridays ago. We had some, discussion about, sorry, it was a Monday. We had some discussion about the, staffing, of course, with, Chris Limon taking the, being promoted to the chief position. That does, he was the lieutenant. And so, that does create an opening there, and so what does the staffing look like? Do you replace with a lieutenant? Do you go with a sergeant? Do you, so we had a lot of discussions on that. We did not, come to a conclusion as far as, I think, not replacing with a lieutenant, I think was about the only thing we maybe agreed on, but, there was more discussion to be had on that, I guess, so. So just talk about that. We fingerprinting service. We talked about that going to a digital one. So you think everything is digital today? Not everything. We do fingerprints. They're still the old school. Put your hand on the ink kind of thing. And so we talked about getting a digital service, something that we could actually have here. So. I don't remember we skipped the stats update when I was there, and then, the records management, that is on hold at the county. Basically, it's not dead, but it's not, it's on hold, I guess, probably just the easiest way to say that. And then I wasn't there at the very end, but we had talked about the facial hair policy, about allowing for short beards, which I did see in the notes, they were okay with that, but, cause it was in the policy currently that they can't have beards, so.
So would yours be considered a short beard?
Mine would not be considered, I think it was.
I was just curious.
Not even my old one either. I think it was half inch was the, number that was, agreed to, so. Maybe on the sides here, but not here, so.
This digital fingerprint thing, where would they use that?
It would be anytime you take them, so I believe they go to the BCA, if I'm right, that was.
What are the circumstances that you would use a fingerprinting machine here?
Upon an arrest, I'm assuming?
Adoption you would use them for, I believe, for ability to purchase a handgun. Those would require fingerprinting.
When I was
okay.
hired by the state, I was fingerprinted here for my job.
And I think background investigations too, if you are a volunteer even at the school, I think
Yep.
you have to be background, and I believe that requires, I might be wrong on that.
At certain levels it does,
Okay,
yep.
I thought it was just used when there was an arrest made, and they're gonna go down to the county anyway, and I figured so that's used for other things then.
Quite a bit.
I know some CDL applications require a fingerprint card too.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that. I don't have an issue with that, I was just curious.
Sure.
We were doing it old school.
Okay.
So, all right, so that is, let's see, that's about all I have for that.
Okay, any other questions for Rick on police? League of Minnesota Cities Annual Conference, Mike and I attended. Mike, do you want to talk first?
Yeah, I was telling people I was a little disappointed this year in some of the stuff that they offered. I did go to the cannabis update class and I learned, I don't know if learned things or just realized things, but they upped the tax on cannabis to balance the budget, but they took away the funding that's supposed to come to us for annual inspections. And there's no way that we can recover that money. We can't charge an extra fee, an annual fee or anything. We just, at this point in time, we have to hope that they bring it back once they get the budget taken care of. And then a couple other classes I went to were public utility classes, and one, like I said, the descriptions of them weren't very good. They were a little deceiving. There was one that was a total waste of time. I hate to admit it, but the other one was okay, but it didn't really teach me anything that we haven't already dealt with. I was a little disappointed that the governor didn't show for his speech, nor did Staubert, but Staubert sent a video, which we saw. The only thing I can think is that maybe they didn't come because of the recent shootings that were taking place. That's then the other thing that we got involved with was the displays that the vendors had, and there was a lot of stuff there to look over and interesting stuff. But unfortunately, I got tied up with SEH and didn't get to all of them. So,
Sure. I went to several different seminars. One was on communication, kind of talked about small cities does not mean you have to have a small culture. I learned some stuff there. Talked a little bit about the new rules for the website accessibility for our size city. I think it starts in 27. Then I went to a session on innovation. Was sharing with Mr. LaRue earlier in the week, kind of a cool thing one of the cities does is they do an employee Shark Tank where they let employees come up with innovative programs and then pitch them, and so kind of some cool stuff to look at maybe down the line.
So website accessibility, is that like 508 compliance type stuff, or what?
I don't know, my notes say website accessibility issues starting in 27.
yeah, I saw something on that also. I wasn't sure what it was about, but it sounds like it's the requirements that we're gonna have to do on our website to.
For like screen readers type thing, like if you, like
Correct.
JAWS or something?
Yep,
so-
or PDF viewability and stuff like that.
Okay, so it's probably 508. Okay.
You probably know more about it than I do, but I think the larger cities over 50,000 start in 26. but we're smaller than that, so I'm pretty sure we have till 27. And I'm sure staff already knew about it, but just another one of the many state unfunded mandates that they handed down, so.
Yep.
All right, any questions on the annual conference? Next up is the Mayor's Local Government Roundtable. So this is something I've been kicking around for quite a while. And I just feel there's a need to get city staff or elected officials together with the township, together with the school board, because there's so many things that cross over that if we're not being real intentional about our communication between the groups, things can go missing. I learned earlier in the year, for instance, that a local school bond or levy referendum can impact a city's bond rating. Because one of the factors they look at is how much tax capacity residents can afford to pay back. So there was a situation, I don't remember where it was, where the city didn't time their bonds to coincide or before that, and it was like a $10 million bond, and their bond rating changed, and it cost them, I think, 0.3% or something.
Quite a bit.
Which is a lot on like a $10 million bond. So I just thought it would be good to get everybody together. So I've been working with the school board chair and the township chair, and we kind of settled on July 29th at 5 p.m. We've tried to schedule this, Greg and I have been talking about it for several months. And I don't know if everybody can make it, but we thought if we don't get something on the calendar and kick it off, it'll never happen. So just wondering if people have questions or any thoughts. We thought we would host it here at City Hall. Greg said the conference room will be ready, and I did get feedback from the township and the school that would work. Maybe not for everybody, but it's hard enough to coordinate the 5 of us sometimes.
Well, the 29th is a good day for us because we don't have a meeting, so.
Right. Yep, and the township or the school, they don't either, so.
29th, the Tuesday?
Correct. So all 3 entities would post it, obviously, as an open meeting.
Yeah, it works for me.
People okay with that?
I don't know if I'm free that night. I had something previously planned.
Okay.
Notice will come out on that, right?
Correct. Do you need anything else?
I was gonna say, do you wanna make a motion now to call for a special meeting, or do you want it as part of next meeting's consent agenda? Either one is fine.
We can do it now.
Okay?
Well, is that good for them? Mm-hmm. Oh, okay, then fine.
I'll make a motion to call for a special meeting on Tuesday, July 29th, 5 p.m. I guess we would call it a,
Local government roundtable.
okay, yep. So no agenda items then, because we have to call for the agenda items in a special meeting beforehand, so we would just say it's a roundtable and that's it?
Yep.
Okay. So
Location will be here.
location here, yep, 5 p.m. I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion by Rick, second by Mike. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed, state no. So we have a special meeting set for the 29th. All right, thank you. Police Department City Hall project, Mr. LaRude.
We are getting very close. The perimeter fence came down today. Cleaning tomorrow for this side of the building, and furniture will be here next Wednesday. So we're getting close. There will be a couple of exterior things to do. That back, the old west entrance to the police department, that still will have some work to do. The glass will have to go above, and they have to sheet rock the inside. The screen wall that's by the old entrance on the east side to City Hall, that will come, but the whole building will be occupied by the end of next week.
Fantastic. Any questions for Greg? If not, we'll move into number 8, administrator and staff reports, the food shelf land purchase request. Mr. LaRude again.
Mayor Kobinger and city council members, as Mayor Kobinger mentioned at the last exec session meeting, the food shelf board has been discussing or looking at alternative locations to their present building where they're at Furniture World. And with the plan initially when we started this building, they were going to be moving back to City Hall. But their food shelf usage has grown significantly since they left City Hall last May, April, somewhere in there. And they're not sure that it will meet their ongoing needs. And Pastor Dave reached out to the city inquiring about the city-owned lot behind the township or the old fire hall. And we've engaged in some conversations with food shelf staff. They have gone out and had a kind of a preliminary building layout prepared and are now requesting that the city sell them that piece of property for conducting a permanent home for the food shelf. So I reached out to the city attorney, and I apologize because I have not given them a copy of the purchase agreement yet, so we won't ask them to sign tonight. But it proposes to be a sale for $1, traditional closing costs paid by each party. And then there is a clawback provision in there that if a building permit isn't obtained within a year from now, June 1 of '26, that would be the first trigger that the property will come back to the city. The second one would be if it's not for a certificate of occupancy issued by June 1 of '27, then it will come back to the city. I think those are kind of moot points. It sounds like they're going to be progressing quite quickly, or would like to progress quite quickly. And so with that, I don't have any other comments. I'll be happy to answer questions. The representatives are here. I don't know if they wanted to speak at all.
Pastor Dave, you want to come up?
Well, thank you for the opportunity, first of all, to be on the agenda tonight and for all the help behind the scenes of the parking lot discussions with a number of you. And we're very excited that we'd be able to go ahead and move on this purchase agreement, have a place of our own. And yes, we call them our neighbors, the people that use the facility need has grown. Our new neighbors this year alone, new ones from past years, new this year, 2025, is roughly 70. We serve from 14 to 25 people a week, and the need is there, and we can only say it's probably going to grow. So thank you for the opportunity to be here, the opportunity to move forward on this project, and yeah, we think we're getting our ducks in a row, and appreciate all your help. Yeah.
And I think too, just to point out, I've spoke with Troy Eichman a few times. He's the kind of the representative from the family that now owns Furniture World, it's Furniture Mart. So a few back and forths and some conversations, but pending the food shelf having the location, they are willing to extend the lease another 9 months free of charge. So that was a thank you to those folks. He was very gracious. We spoke very frankly, and he said they don't think it's a permanent use spot for them, but they were happy to do it, knowing that the city was making a commitment, and the Food Shelf Board, the Pastoral Council, thank you for all your work. We know that it's needed in our city, so I certainly support this move.
So the request then on behalf of staff was a motion and a second to adopt resolution 25-49, approving the purchase agreement for the sale of the property to the Becker Food Shelf.
Just a question on that. Do we want to consider asking for a right of first refusal? Even after, being that we sell the land for $1?
For what purpose?
If it were to ever go up for sale?
Oh, that they didn't do it and they sold it?
Just, or whatever, yeah.
Why would we want to do that? There's a clawback.
Well, but if they, what Rick is saying is, between now and the 1st of June of '26, the property is in their hands. Unless we put a provision, we can amend the purchase agreement to add that clause that the property cannot be sold except for use by the food shelf.
It wouldn't be in, say, a malicious intent, it would just be a,
Things
plans
happen.
change. All of a sudden you get a better deal, or we're gonna move to a bigger property or something, and that's.
So you certainly can amend the conditions of the purchase agreement as they appeared in the agenda to include that, and I would have the city attorney revise a clause and add it consistent with that.
Yeah, it's okay, I'm okay with it.
Greg, maybe I missed this too, but was the original, I looked at the draft and was the clawback amount wrong in here?
It would be just, it should be just for our cost.
Yeah, I thought the first one I read, now I can't find it.
It is in 3.2 B.
Okay, so below that, it says additionally, seller may repurchase the property from buyer for the same purchase price of $435,600.
That is, should not, that's gotta be struck out of there as well.
Okay, I noticed that and I forgot about
I
it. but
think they used an old purchase agreement and the rest of that.
That'd be a pretty good deal
paragraph needs to
for you.
go.
Sell it back to us at a $435,599 profit?
We will get that out.
Okay. Pastor Dave, any concerns about the clawback if,
I thought that was in here. We do have a rough draft. It looks as if we don't do anything in 2 years, it's back into the city's. It looks as if we don't do anything in 2 years, it's back into the city's hands.
sure.
But, no, we go along with that amendment for sure.
I think it makes sense. Is there any other questions on this? If not, we would look for a motion to sell the property with the addition that if it does go up for sale, that the city would have a right of first refusal.
I do have one
Yeah.
question, zoning wise, it fits? Yes. Okay.
Yep, so thanks to, staff has done a fairly significant amount of background work with Pastor Dave and the food shelf, looking at the planning and zoning situation. Phil has helped him as well, with some of the preliminary planning, so we've definitely tried to offer assistance where we could.
And just maybe a heads up that that street is getting repaired this year, so when we talk about stubbing in for water and this is the perfect time to do it, so.
Water is already on that
I was
site
gonna say, it's
because there's a
already
house
got-
there.
it's already
That was
got-
the other thing in here that I meant to ask about, and I apologize. Thank you for bringing that up. I think in here it talks about applicable sack and whack fees. I'm assuming they've been paid on that lot already,
Yes. I'm gonna assume.
when the house was there. Yeah, you better come up here. Poor Tony's been
Somebody's running it.
running the shuttle run over there back and forth
So-
with the microphone. Thank you, Tony.
On these lots that are this old, if they had a stub in there previously, we've assumed they've been paid at some point, even if there's no record of it. The only time it would change an amount is if they went to a bigger line into the property, and that's the same on any commercial. It used to be where you do a calc on square footage, but it's not the case anymore.
Okay.
Just more of a straight pipe sizing, so in this case, no.
That's just a question on perhaps building permit fees and all that. We're not too sure how the city stands on that. Not that we're saying, no, we can't pay it, but being nonprofit and such, but is that something we can? put
Yeah, I
into
think
the-
that's something for when you make the application. We can work on that.
Mr. Knutson?
Just to confirm, staff did confirm there's a 1-inch service line there and a curb stop in place and a cap sewer line that is accessible to the property. So that has been field confirmed, so.
Okay. All right. Any other discussion, questions?
I'll make a motion to approve resolution 2449, approving the purchase agreement and sale of the property owned by the city of Becker to the Food Shelf Group.
2549.
Yeah, it's 25 and it says 24. Yeah, it'd be 25, huh?
Yep.
25, assuming 49 then is the right number?
It is.
Okay, so 2549 with the amendment of the 1 year for right of first refusal within the year.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion by Rick, a second by Robin. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed, state no. Motion's carried. Godspeed and good luck. All right, moving on to the consent agenda.
Mayor Cobinger, City Council members, items for approval on tonight's consent agenda include the revised hiring and termination report, approval of entering into a joint powers agreement with the Minnesota Bureau of Criminal Apprehension for a breath testing machine, accept the city-owned industrial lot appraisal report, approve 2 temporary liquor licenses for the Becker Lions Club, approve partial pay request number 7 in the amount of $252,877.27 to Minnesota Paving and Materials for the 2024 Street Improvement Project, and approve partial pay request number 1 in the amount of $227,219.37 to Minnesota Paving and Materials for the 2025 Street Improvement Project. I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for Greg on the consent agenda? Hearing none, entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
I have a motion by Robin, seconded by Rick. Any discussion on the consent agenda? Hearing none, all in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed, state no. Consent agenda is carried. Payment of the bills.
Make a motion.
Go ahead.
Make a motion to pay the bills.
Second?
Rick wants to pay the bills. Robin agrees. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed, state no. The bills are paid. Anniversary announcements, we have quite a few. Donnie Adler at the Community Center, 12 years. Patty Zabinski, Community Center, 7 years. Amanda Krenz, Community Center and the Golf Course, 5 years. Mark Ebensteiner, Finance Director, 4 years. Jacob Sanders, Community Development Director and part-time painter, 6 years. Thank you for your service, Jacob. I'm done officially. I'll never be brought up again. Mike Gordon, Police Officer, 4 years. Preston Voigt, Police Officer, 4 years. Roger Bellinger, the mechanic at Public Works, 10 years. Corey Butchen, Public Works, 7 years. Chad Clausen, Public Works, 7 years. Ryan Peckskamp, Public Works, 6 years. Mike Smith, Public Works, 2 years. And Jeremy Halverson at the Water Department, 28 years. So thank you to all those employees for your continued dedication and congratulations on your anniversaries. Is there anything else that anybody has to come before City Council tonight? Did I forget anything? All right, wonderful. Then we'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I move we adjourn.
Second.
Mike motion, seconded by Rick to adjourn. All in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Meeting's adjourned at 5:38. Thank you, everybody.
I should go mow my yard.